Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Jamie Leonard, here with TCG Unlimited, and today we bring you another Force of Will versus episode. Again, this is a follow-up game 2 from our last video, except I've changed decks today. This time I will be playing my Faria versus Chase's Faria. Again, for those that haven't watched the first video, his deck is basically a mono white with some fairies splashed in. I guess you could call it soldiers slash fairies. Mine is red white aggro knights. So let's get started. Tap for a stone, hit my ghost flame. Tap for red and play Guinevere. After that, I pass a turn. He taps for a stone and plays. Let's see. Okay, yeah. Alright, plays the Temple Monk, gains 400 life off of Temple Monk's inner effect, and passes the turn. I draw my card, tap for another stone. This time I hit Little Red, naming red.
Little Red naming white. I don't have a choice.
Which again, for my deck, is not the best in the world. I mean, 2 red by turn 2 is kind of funny, but it's not always the best thing to have.
Galahad.
Oh wait, no. Okay, so I chose Little Red naming white. Usually I try to avoid doing that, but I do remember now I didn't really have a choice. I didn't really have a Lancelot or anything I actually could play for 2 red. So that did kind of force me into a bad situation. But either way, you make the best of it. So he taps for another stone, drops the 2-cost Angel, and passes turn. So I draw my card, untap, tap Faria for another stone, reveal the red-white. So basically now the deck can pretty much do anything it needs to do. My deck usually tops out about 3 mana. The trick with my deck is I only run 1 Guiver. My deck really doesn't need it. It's fast enough. It doesn't really matter. So at this point, I'm feeling pretty good with my board state. It's not exactly optimal. I would have much preferred like a turn 1 Percival, but you gotta make do with what you got. So swing in for 6 because of the +2/+2 to all knights.
Gain 500 life.
Gain 500 life off of Galahad's trigger. So draws his card, untaps.
Yeah.
Taps Faria for a green stone, I believe. That's what it looks like. Again, Chase is one of our newer players, so he just takes his little extra time just to make sure he knows what he wants to play. Considers playing the little 2-drop knight, decides against it. So instead he's going to pay all 3 and choose to play the little fox card. It's actually pretty good. The fact that it can't be targeted definitely makes it very usable. Since my deck uses a lot of cards that target. So not the easiest thing for me to get rid of. However, it's also not that great of a threat for me. So I untap. So he passes turn. I untap. Taps for stone. Let's see. I hit the. Yeah. Okay. Just a white stone. So now that we're here at 4 mana, there's pretty much not any card in my deck that I can't play. Pretty much all of my cards are 3 or less. So my deck, so any time now I could pretty much choose to flip my Faria, and it would be pretty safe. Naturally, I'm going to try to wait to draw that Excalibur, but for the most part, it's pretty much all downhill once I've hit that turn 4. So I tap for the 2 red and 1 other to play the Gareth. For my deck, Gareth is actually very versatile, since I can use it for a blocker or an attacker because the fact that it negates the 700 or less. So now I choose to swing in with the Galahad, gain the 500 life. Swing for 6. I will gain the 500. I choose to pump my Galahad with Little Red since it named White. That way they'll trade.
He dies, I'll tap down your temple monk. 2/4.
And actually, I do believe that my knight shouldn't have died because it had +2/+2. And then the additional +2/+2 from Little Red should have actually helped it survive. So I think that was a misplay there, but overall it really didn't change anything. And I actually did forget to gain the extra 500 life, but again, not that it would have changed much. So again, he plays another copy of his 2-drop Angel. Pays 3 to play the Gwyber. Unlike in my other deck, this deck is easily able to deal with the Gwyber threats. It does run Almerius, so I can easily jump something into the air to throw in front of it. So Gwyber's not that big of a threat for me. Okay, yeah, and at this point I remember I should have gained 500. So I'll go ahead and tack that back on. But take the initial damage from the Angel. So I untap, tap Faria for another stone. Hit another of the red-white stones. Really, at this point, I'm still trying to dig for that Excalibur, but I'm just not seeing it. So really, I mean, pretty much at this point, it's just playing a stall game until I see it. So as you see, I play the Bitavir, especially since Bitavir is the perfect answer for Gwybers. Remove a Resonator with 1,000 or more attack, so Gwyber's the perfect target. Also choose to play the Holy Warrior of Hope, which I would have preferred turn 1, but Gwen's still not bad. Also choose to play Queen's Butler, just so when I do flip Faria, she'll be immune to Thunder and all the danger spells that put Faria at danger. He chooses to chump block the Gareth with his Temple Monk. After that, I pretty much just pass the turn. There's no point in doing much else. Draws his card, untaps, then taps for another stone. Hits Fairy's Memorial, revealing the 2-drop 5/5 Fairy, which I do believe he'll just go ahead and play here in a second. The only one downside to the deck is since most of Chase's cards do have flying, it's definitely a lot harder for me to deal with them, especially if he can get enough damage on board quick enough. But for the most part, my Faria can pretty much, I haven't seen a lot of decks that can put out as much damage as fast as mine, assuming I've got a proper hand. So yeah, he plays the 2-drop Fairy, just so now he's got another flyer, so he can try to pump that damage through. Also taps for another 2 mana to play, I believe, another one of the Shroud. Chooses to play the. I forget which knight that actually is. But chooses to swing in with one of the fairies.
Did you just play? What was that last turn?
Do not really have any responses. I'm tapped out, and because it's flying, not a whole lot I can do. So I take the hit.
Whether you cheated.
Judge! I'll be like that, Judge.
He passes the turn, untap, and then tap Faria for another stone. Actually, I'm trying to decide where. At this one, I was trying to decide. Sorry about that, guys. Got a quick phone call. Business, had to take care of it real quick. It only lasts for a second. But at this point, I was deciding whether I actually wanted to tap Faria, and even while I'm talking, I'm still deciding on what I want to do. How do I want to push the damage through? Trying to decide whether I just want to try to swing through with Faria, or go ahead and flip Faria, or do I just want to go ahead and push and try to drop a couple more cards? But I think instead I actually ended up tapping for a stone, I believe. No. So I do choose to go ahead and flip the Faria, just to go ahead and get that extra stone. And now I've got now my J Ruler's in play. So I play the top card. It's just another white stone. At this point I don't really remember what was in my hand, but normally for me flipping Faria is really like a last resort. Not that in any way I thought I was in danger in any way, but it was probably the only sensible play I had. Play another Galahad.
So all night till the round total get +2/+2. So
I forgot to untap the Gareth, but swing the Gareth for 8. He's just going to take the damage. Not a lot he can do. I'd actually considered trying to just swing into one of his flyers, try to get a couple of those off the field. But then swing in with a bit of fear for 7. Actually, I'm sorry. I think I keep forgetting to count in for the +2/+2 tonight. So actually 10 and then 9. So I will swing in with Holy Warrior of Hope for 4.
To give him +2/+2.
He does try to block it, so I'll use Little Red to pump to 6. So they will trade, I believe, or I think I messed up again there too. I think Holy Warrior of Hope should have been. Actually, no. I think that fairy was a 5/5.
So I'm going to tap him down.
I think it's the angel I'm getting confused with. That's the 6/6. So yeah, I use the Little Red to pump for 2 to help my guy survive. Then swing with the Galahad, tapping his final guy down. Getting that cheap little attack through. Puts him down to 1,600. At this point, I mean, he's going to have to play a major card at this point to try to stay alive. Plays the Temple Monk, gains back 400 of the life he's already lost. Then pays an additional 1 for the Wind Sprite. I mean, really, at this point, Wind Sprite's not going to do him much good. At this point, he's just going to have to use it as an extra body, just to try to block a couple of my attacks to keep him from going through. Unfortunately, at this point, it's just a little too late. I mean, with all the power on my side of the field, just little chump blockers aren't going to make much difference. So he chooses to flip his Faria as well. Reveals a Light Stone. Also chooses to play the one of the trial or starter deck knights that goes and fetches another copy of itself, but chooses not to use it.
Big things on the field.
Wouldn't say that.
And then he's basically asking how would it work if he swings into Gareth. And I explained to him pretty much how Gareth works. Asking exactly what Guinevere does. So I explained that to him too. Basically just making sure he understands. I mean, even if he does get close, I mean, if he starts suiciding his guys into mine, just trying to get him off the field, I can basically just sack in response. So at this point, he does decide he does want to do the search, and just because we're not really playing competitively, we're just playing friendly, I was like, yeah, that's fine, go ahead and get him. Not that it's going to make much difference. I mean, you're tapped out. You don't really have another turn. So he chooses to swing in with the Angel. Again, not a lot I can do because of the flying. Considers swinging in with the Knight. I think he actually does. Yeah, he does. He swings in with the Knight. Not a lot I can do. So I think I'm pretty much just going to let that go through. I mean, I really don't have any need to block it. I'm at 3,200. There's just really no point. Oh yeah, no. I actually choose to block with the Faria. And at this point, everything else came in play that turn, so nothing else could swing. So Faria wasn't in any real danger. So at this point, I choose to untap, or at this point, he passes the turn, untaps. Pretty much, I've already got all the mana I'm going to need for this turn. With 2 guys tapped down, and then the fact that Blaine can just tap another guy. Not much threat as far as I'm concerned, so I'm just going to go ahead and just make the safe play and just go ahead and, I believe, play
Ragnarok, the
Ragnarok onto Faria to give it +5/+5. And then with the ability that if it kills a resonator, instead of going to the graveyard, it gets removed and you gain life. So basically now, and then because of Faria's target attack, so now I can just start removing his guys from the field quite easily. Nothing in his deck can actually stand up to the 13/13. So that's really not an issue for me anymore. All of my guys are just my Faria is stronger than any card in his deck. So I mean, at this point, I just have to outswing all of his cards, and with only 3 left, it doesn't really matter. So attack, choose to tap down, forcing a chump block with the Wind Sprite, basically. Oh no, he chooses to throw his knight at it. He still dies. At this point, swinging with the Galahad, gain the 500 life, throws the Wind Sprite at it. He is back up to 2,000 now, so I don't think I.
Swinging for 10.
No, I did go ahead and just choose to win this turn. So swinging with the Gareth for 10.
This is Faria, 13. 13.
That would put him down to 10, and then Faria finishes him off. He chooses to block with the Faria. It dies.
Alright, so you're gonna block the Faria.
Again, I remind him that because he didn't have Excalibur, Faria dies and just becomes an Astral Ruler. So now all I can do is tap for stones.
I don't have any hasties, so this card's not that great now.
But I mean, yeah. I mean, at this point, Guinevere, Bedivere, Holy Warrior of Hope, and Faria still have their attacks. So I'm just going to knock him down to 7, or knock him down by 900, and then swing in with Faria to finish the game.
He's tapped. You can't block tapped guys.
No.
So yeah, we're going to go to game 2. Oh no, you can. In response.
But again, guys, I just want to go ahead and mention, I mentioned it in the description of the last video. We actually did upgrade some of our equipment. I'm actually using a different mic. So if you guys would, let me know how the mic sounds, if you can understand everything I'm saying.
It's only going to put you at 4, you still die.
If it sounds good, let me know. If I need to work on the settings, I can do that. I just basically plugged it in tonight to do the recording for this video. Unfortunately, where we're sitting, the audio was just crap. We couldn't use it. So instead, during the whole game, we're basically just, fun little banter back and forth. Again, he's a newer player, so I'm just trying to help him out, give him some tips on what to do. Some cards he might want to look into getting. Pretty much, I mean, I just, basically told him, you might want to try to decide what real way you want to run Faria, because, I mean, there's just not much synergy with just running a bunch of random cards. But anyway, if you guys like the mic, let me know. Hopefully we can get it situated and I can get used to using it. It's a little bit different than what I'm used to, but hopefully it'll work out. We'll be using this from now on. If we do a video and I don't like the audio, I'll just do the voiceovers like I've been doing. But whatever you guys think, just let me know in the comment section below. And of course, naturally, we do these videos for you guys, so just let us know what you think, and we'll try to do anything and everything we can to try to make the videos a little bit more entertaining for you guys. I know I'm probably not the most entertaining to listen to. I'm working on it. I'm not used to being a big talker all the time, especially with these videos. So if I just go quiet for a minute, just hang in there with me. I'll get better as time goes by. Okay, so we're getting ready for game 2 now.
All right, so you lost. You get to choose who goes first.
If I remember correctly, my hand was not all that great. His
really? Again?
certainly was not. He decides
Little red,
to.
they name white.
I believe this is the game he actually decides to.
Comes in
No, he
play.
keeps his hand.
Reveal the top
So I think we both
cards,
actually kept our hands.
choose
So
a
I
knight
finally
round
get the
table,
turn 1
a
Percival.
regalia, add it to
Hit the Lancelot.
so I think I choose
So Lancelot's the only thing I can choose, but at least it didn't whiff.
Go ahead.
But if anything, that turn 2 Galahad, or that turn 2 Lancelot's going to be nice. Although unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to play it just because of the having to name white with little red. That is probably the turn 1 play I do not like having to make. Needing to play that Percival and then being forced to name white with little red. Thankfully, it doesn't happen to me very often, but it does enough just to be annoying. So for his first turn, he plays one of the little trial deck knights. Nothing too impressive, definitely nothing too threatening. I mean, for his deck, it's definitely probably budget. Mine's a little bit more competitive. We actually counted my deck. I was actually looking through it when I was rebuilding it to play this game. I didn't realize I was actually almost running like 45 cards, and I was like, oh my god, how am I actually managing to run this deck as well as I have in the past at this number of cards? So, I spent probably 5 minutes just trying to go back through the deck, just trying to make sure I didn't throw anything in there by accident. But surprisingly, I didn't. The deck runs, and so yeah, I mean, for an extra large deck, it definitely does what it still needs to do. So for my second turn, I choose to play another Percival and a Queen's Butler.
Play Excalibur.
Giving me that extra search. I found the Excalibur. So now with the Excalibur on board, I'm definitely feeling a lot more comfortable with the game. Now that I've got the constant protection for Faria. He draws into the Wind Sprite, chooses to play the Wind Sprite off of the Fairies Memoria. Oh no, chooses to play the Angel. There's several times I've had to remind him that Fairies Memorial only taps for white if you don't use it for a fairy. Again, I have to remind him that that protection of the fairies is only free if it targets a fairy. So instead, he chooses to play the Temple Monk, which right then was probably the better play anyway, since neither one of those could attack. Just to get that extra 400. I actually don't run Temple Monk. I chose to go the route with Holy Warrior of Hope, just to try to get that little bit more turn 1 offensive against aggro decks. Naturally, back when I built my Faria, Bahamut was all the rage, and you needed that turn 1, that turn wall against hunters. So it was you really didn't the plus 400 life was nice, but it didn't always get the job done. So this reveal was actually a lot better. I hit another Percival, Lancelot, Gareth. Choose to take the. I can't remember what. Actually, now that I say that, I can't remember what it was I chose. Pretty sure it was another Percival though.
I played one going.
So at this point, deciding whether I want to try to attack. Not really wanting to waste my Percivals. I much prefer to save them to protect Lancelot and things like that. Even though thanks to the Gawain, they get an additional +2/+2. Still didn't really want to waste them. So I choose to go the safer route. He chooses to play Wind Sprite. Pretty good at this point, just getting that extra mana, just trying to get as many cards in play as possible. Places the protection of the fairies on it. Then proceeds to place another one, giving it basically +4/+4, +2 instances of protection. Definitely a really good card. Definitely would have preferred to Thunder in response to the second one. However, I was tapped out, and I do not think I actually had the Thunder in hand. But that Wind Sprite's definitely going to be an issue if I don't find some way to deal with it.
Off of what, though?
However, my board's already getting a little out of hand. Even with the Percivals, as weak as they are, they're definitely going to be where I need him to be. So now that he's gained his, now he's up to 4,600 life, so he's feeling pretty confident. Hits me for 3 with the Angel. So for my turn, I untap, tap Faria for another stone, and play another Gawain, which I think is the one I actually chose off the third Percival, because I don't think I had 2 in my hand. I knew I already had 1, so apparently I just chose to be a little greedy and kept the other one too. So play both Gawains. Now all of my knights get +6/+6. So now even Percivals are just really annoying. The wind sprite's going to be nice though for him, because it gives him so much extra attack.
All these guys get.
Unfortunately, he plays Holy Wolf thinking that he could hit the Excalibur. I remind him that Regalia are not additions. So he chooses not to waste it. Although at this point I told him that you might as well play it if you want to play it. I don't actually run additions in the deck other than 2 copies of Ragnarok. So just playing it just for the sake of playing it, just to have that body, is probably the better play. But instead he chooses to go with the 6/6 Angel, which is still a good play because it's going to give him a lot more damage in the air that I can't really do anything about. However, I mean with the 3 Gawains, damage is going to just start stacking up really quickly. Again, considering whether I want to flip, I decide not to and just start swinging in with the Gawains.
Swing for 7.
Swing the Gawain for, what is it, 7 at this point. Chooses to block with the Angel.
Okay. Swing for 7.
Oh, no. Use Gawain to tap down the Angel. He chumps with the Knight. Swing another Gawain, tap down the Temple Monk.
Swing for 7.
Swing the third Gawain. I actually mess up. I forgot the Wind Sprite was in play.
They're like big again.
But at this point, he realizes there's just simply too much damage on board. Plus, funny story is, my manager actually reminded me that we were actually getting ready to close at that point.